Alright, we're out here now at the door, and we've got a little surprise. Look what it's doing outside. It is snowing. I don't know if y'all can see that. There's a light there. We got snow on the ground, and you can see my footprints right there. Let me zoom in there. See my footprints going all the way across there? There we already got snow. And I did get my window in, got it fixed, put a new glass in the bottom, got that window. Now there's no snow going to come in here. So now what we're doing is I've got these boards up here, these 2x6s, and let me move this stuff out of the way. And I've laid them all out, and I got to lay one more on it. But because my sawhorses are not big enough, let me put you on a tripod here. Get ready for a click. And let me get behind here so I can see if it's in the right place. Alright, so what I've got here is I had to get these boards in here real quick, so I had to get them in my way. But I'm gonna make a door that looks like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take me some boards and cut them the width about a ½ inch or maybe even an inch shorter than the door facing, and I'm going to go up here about right there, and I'm going to put one across it. But I'm going to put it up here so I can add another 2x6 underneath this. And once I've got all these bolted down or screwed down, then I will flip it over. Well, after I get it cut down, I'll flip it over, and then this side will be down. And then I'll just lay my next 2x6 in here and then bolt it on there. And that way I don't have to worry about sawhorses being wide enough. Alright, once I've got this one here, and I'll probably come about, I don't know, 14 inches down, maybe 12 inches, and go across, and then I'll go down here and 12 inches from either the bottom or the top, whichever's going to be which, like it don't matter, and I'll go 12 inches and put another one of these. Alright, now once I've got that done, then I'm going to take another 2x6, and I'm going to run it and cut it to fit so that it goes across like that. And let's just imagine that this is the 2x6 going across there. I'll just cut that right there at that angle and do the same thing down here on this end. And this will be a nice solid door, and there's gaps in between here where this wood is a little warped, but I'll show you how we're going to take care of that too. I've got some big pipe clamps that I'll come in here and I'll clamp them right here, squeeze them together, and that will straighten them. And then I'll go ahead and put my 2x6s down and pre-drill them, screw them, and then I can take my clamps off and then put this piece in. So that's what we're going to do. And this is going to be a nice door. It's just as thick as the door, so I can use a regular doorknob and a bolt, deadbolt, if I want to. Out of all that scrap that I got 4 good, heavy hinges, 4 exterior doors, and therefore monster doors. So we're going to get started on doing this. I'm trying to get the door on tonight before it's too late, and making noise in a tin building at god awful hours at night ain't cool. Not for the neighbors anyway. So we're going to take and cut this down right now. So until I'm ready and got everything ready here and going. I'm going to pause because my battery's low again. Alright, so now what I've done here is I've got these pieces pre-cut, and I'm getting ready to drill them out, and pre-drill this part. And the reason I'm putting the screws on the inside is so that people can't just take a screw gun and unscrew the door and take it out of there and get whatever I got in here. So it's going to stick out just a little bit on the other side, which is no big deal. Once I've got the door done, I can just take the grinder and grind it off, because I'm probably going to paint the door anyway. And even if I don't paint the door, there's ways of making it look good. If I stain the door, I can stain it real dark and paint each one of them little metal pieces that was grounded off from the tip of the screw. Just take a Sharpie or a little bit of black paint, paint it, and you'd almost never see it if you wasn't up real close. So right now we're going to go ahead and drill these out. And probably going to call this How to Build a Barn Door. So we're not worried about being too perfect. If I was going to be worried about that, I'd draw me a line straight up through there and draw me a line straight up through there, because I've already drew a line here, here, the width of every one of these 2x6s. And I drew a diagonal line at a 45. And if I wanted to get precise with it, I would draw a line straight up through there. In fact, why don't we just do that? I'll show you how to be precise with your screws. Basically what you would want to do is take this right here. These sounded all countrified, didn't I? And, just pick a spot. So I'll just choose to go the width of the ruler. And then I'll just draw me a line straight up both sides. Alright. And there's going to be 2 screws in each 2x6 so it doesn't twist. So now I know where I'm going to drill my holes. Right there, right there, right there. And they're all going to be uniform. So let's get to it. Alright, now what we need to do is go on the other side here. And you can see it's dirt, and it's just nasty, but it's going down, so it doesn't really matter. That's just where something has been digging at it. Apparently, this board was in an area where something was trying to dig at it. Looks like dog claws, so apparently they housed the dog in it and they chewed or clawed that up. So now we're going to clean up all the little burrs that comes off the other side when the drill bit comes through. And now, so that we don't have to mark all this other one the same, we'll just come in here beside it. Yes, it takes a little more time to do it, but what is time when you're doing something correct and look good at the same time? I can't stress that enough to the young kids today, that if you just take a little pride in your work and do a good job, you're going to impress somebody. And believe me, I love impressing people. I live to impress people. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I just do. So we'll take and clamp the other side. I'm going to have to make these clamps electrified, so I don't have to do this. I just hit a button on the side of it and it opens them up. That'll be my bison invention. Alright, so now all we're going to do is drill a hole. And my holes are marked. It was still quicker than me sitting there and measuring, and I know that this is identical to this. If I wanted to, I could take this one off of here and switch them if I wanted to, because they're identical now. So, not that I would. So this one here is done. And I've set it at 12 inches. And I got a line drawn here and a ½ inch off the edge. Now, we'll go ahead and drill this one. Oh, and by the way, I'm using my new Valentine's gift. Black & Decker seems to be doing okay. I've never had problems with Black & Decker drills like this. It's 18 volt. It's got the magnetic tip here, or the clip tip for your tips, and it don't seem to be working correctly. Now I've got one of these that has the plug in the back of it, and never had a problem out of that one either. These have always been good drills to me. So, anyway, enough ranting. Just wanted to show off my girlfriend's gift to me for Valentine's Day. Be careful not to get a splinter, because I'm going to tell you, ain't nothing worse than a splinter except for getting something in your eye. I hate a splinter, and I still do things that causes me splinters, and I still complain about it, but it's alright, it was my fault, because I knew better. Alright, oh, better get my broom. I forgot it was out in the snow, and we're going to need that. And you want to sweep that off. And then you line that to your line that you drew. It's 12 inches from the bottom, because right here's where I'm going to cut it off. And we're going to do a ½ inch. Now when I get the next board on it, it's going to be a ½ inch off of that one. We hope. I may have to use a wider one, 2x8, because I don't think that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are going to get me to the width of my door. It's going to be lacking about a ½ inch. So I haven't really decided how I'm going to deal with that. There's 2 different ways I can deal with it. One, I can use a wider board for the last one and then cut it down to the size of the door. Or I can add 2x6, because I've got a pretty big door here. And I could add a 2x6 on each side to bolt to the 2x4 that I have on each side. That will bring my door down to somewhere around, well, 3 inches off of 30, let's see. I've got a 34.5 inch door. Shouldn't have made it that wide. I did. So 34.5, and subtract 3 inches would give me 1, 2, 3. 31 and a half. I mean, ½ inch. I ain't worried about a ½ inch off of a 32-inch door. So I can probably just go ahead and put the last one on and then do a frame. All I need is a 2x6 on each side, bolted to it, and that will shrink the door facing, and then I'll just rip this down to whatever size I need. Problem solved. So now what we're going to do is move everything out of the way, and we're going to come right here into the middle, right about right here. And we're going to tighten those down. So now all I have to do is cut that line, but I'm not going to cut that line until I've got the last 2x6 on it. So now, basically, I'm just going to flip it. And this is not a light door. That door is heavy. Yeah, that door is going, it ain't going nowhere. That's what you call bison tough. So now, we got to move everything out of our way every time we turn around. If I can get it out of here. Thank God I ain't got to work in this shop or building. Now I left that a little long, just in case I had to trim. I knew I was going to have to trim it. So this is what the door is going to look like, and I'm actually thinking about putting the Bison logo on the top of it. Route it out, take a hammer and just kind of tap it all over, give it that rough texture, and then paint it black. Put Bison Built on the door. Bison Built. So now, since that's got a gap in it, we got to reclamp it. Always make sure that you have all your tools up off the floor, because if one of these boards comes down on one of your drills, it will bust it, especially when it's cold as it is now. It's probably about 26 degrees. You see my breath. put the flashlight there because I'm having a hard time seeing that mark. Don't want to be crooked. And now we have a door. My battery went dead. I had to put it on charge. So I don't know how much of the sawing you got done or anything. But there's the door. And right now we're at a point where I can go ahead and put the door up if I need to, real quick. So what I'm gonna wait and do the cross member that goes diagonally until I get it up. And now we're going to check to see how wide it is compared to the door. All right, we got 34 and a half. And we've got 33 and a half. So I need to come up with a ½ inch on each side. So what I'm going to do now, and I was already prepared for this, I'm going to take this and cut it down after I put my frame up to make the door not so wide. That will get me to, let's see here. Well, I can probably do it on the tape. Alright, those are 1.5 inches. So you subtract 3 from this, and I like about 1/8 inch on each side. That way I have enough play to work with. So I'm at 33 and a half. So I'm going to subtract 3 inches. So that would be 1, 2, 3. All right, 3 inches from that. Then I'm going to subtract another quarter. Another 1/4 inch. I could have got by with a 2 before. So that brought us to 30 and a quarter. Alright, so we're going to make 30 and a quarter our destination. Alright, but because this line and this line are so close, I want to split the difference. I want to take what I'm taking off, split it in half. That way I'm not taking so much off of each one of them. That side and this side. So I'm taking the same amount off, I'm just taking half of it off this side and half of it from this side. That way I still have a lot of meat right here, because remember, this is where your hinges are going to be. So you want your hinges to be really in a solid spot. Plus, when I go to put my doorknob on, if I cut it all off of this side, then this door is going to be, it's either going to be a right or a left, and can't be ambidextrous, or if that's the right word. So I'm going to take the 1.25 inches, 3 1/4, and that will give me half of 3 is 1.5 inches. Half of a quarter is 1/8, so you add 1/8 to your 1.5 inches, that gives you 1 5/8 inches. So we're going to mark that at 1 5/8 inches. And we're going to do the same thing up here, 1 5/8 inches. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. 1 5/8 inches. inch and 5/8. Now, all I gotta do, run me a straight edge down along this. Run me a straight edge down along this. And then we'll saw it off. And we've got our destination door. So then I'll have to take the 2x6s, and that will also match the 2x6 that I put across the top. And if you wasn't charging, I would, let me see if I can turn you around here. That light ain't too bright for the camera. Alright, I'll do it this way. Because this here is a 2x6 going along here, then I can add a 2x6 to this, and it'll bring it out the same. And that brings my door facing down 3 inches. And because I'm cutting off the 1/4 inch, that gives me an 1/8 inch on each side of the door, so that I'll have a little clearance so it ain't sticking on me. But believe me, these doors will swell and stuff like that. So we'll turn you back around here. And this is probably going to be the end of this part. We've got the door, we've got a plan, so we will probably stop this and do a part 2 of hanging the door. But you get the idea. I might just do this part 1 and just basically let you see what I'm doing, explain it, and then just show you the finished product when I do part 5 of how to make your building great again. So that sounds like a better plan. My nose is running big time. So I think I'm going to hold off on cutting this down until I've got the frame up, just in case something's a little off, because I don't really think this door is that square. I'm going to have to do a bunch of shimming in places to get it square to start off with, because this is measuring the 34 5/8 at the very top, and (34.5) at the very bottom, and 34.5 here. So I might still be good, because once I got the door installed, then I'm gonna rip me some thin pieces to make my door stop, the frame around the door so that the door will stop in a certain place. And it's gonna be a nice door. I just hope that my walls will handle that. It should, because I put the 2x6s on it. So I'm gonna stop now and go take a break and warm up a little bit. Well, guys, we got the door up, but I ran into a problem. I gotta trim the bottom a little bit, but I cut it too shallow here. So what I have to do is I'm going to have to shim in between this 2x4 and the 2x6 to bring it in a little closer, because for some reason I cut it too short. I don't know how I did that, but that's fine. I can work with that. And then I'll just trim a little bit off of the bottom, probably about a ½ inch. That way I can put a rug across here. And but there you have the door. It fits a little tight right now, but that's all right. It works up here at the top. So I'll just take me a a straight edge across there with a board and just draw a straight line and then take the door off and cut it down. But that'll work for tonight because I don't have a latch or anything to put on it. And so because I don't have a latch for it that's sticking it to the floor, so tight will hold it shut so no snow comes in here. But I'll give you an idea of what we got going on here. We've got the door in, and the walls are up, windows are in, all the way around. And we're using a 500 watt bulb. So anyway, there you have the Bison built shed door. Subscribe, like, make some comments. I'd like to hear what you think. I'm Bob. Later.